the rule governing retirement funds, they're a bit out of date, and this order is trying to make some of the rules more modern. It's a good idea. 2 points stick out to me. First, the order would direct the Treasury and Labor departments to consider issuing regulations that could make it easier and cheaper for smaller employees to band together to offer 401k type plans for their workers. Right now, an individual, say a restaurant, can't offer a retirement plan to their employees very easily, but it's very difficult to join together with other restaurants or other businesses to offer a multiple employer plan that would be provided, say, by a financial services group. The idea here is to make it easier for, say, Uber drivers and others in the gig economy to join an employer retirement plan. It's a good idea. Second, the president is ordering a review of rules requiring retirees to take withdrawals from retirement funds after age 70 and a half. This rule, unfortunately, is out of date. People are living longer, they're working longer, and it should be raised, and the mortality table should be changed. It's a good time, Tyler, to take a look at some of these retirement rules. Back to you.
Fascinating story here. Thank you very much, Bob. Stay with us. We're going to go to some tape now, I guess. There is the president's arrival party in Charlotte, where he intends to sign this executive order that would do what Bob just outlined for us. So how would it change your retirement plans and your planning? Alex Benke is Vice President of Financial Advice and Planning at Betterment. Alex, welcome. Good to have you with us. Let me start with a maybe somewhat obscure in the weeds question, because that's what I'm really good at, is asking the in the weeds questions. Why was it that there was ever a rule requiring people to take mandatory withdrawals from 401ks and IRAs? Why?
So these kinds of accounts are tax deferred, meaning your money, as long as it's in it, is not taxed. And that rule allows the IRS to start to collect the money on those funds. It makes sense because people do tend to spend their money in retirement. But the ages that are currently in play are probably out of date, and that forced savings is not always needed by people. So more control over that would be helpful to them.
So really, it was a simple matter of the government needed the money. So they said you've got to start drawing it down, and that when it comes out of those plans, generally, unless it's a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k, is taxable. So you think this change that might well mean delaying those mandatory withdrawals is a good idea?
Yeah, it is. Anything that helps reduce the taxes that investors have to pay and gives them control over those taxes is a great thing.
Bob, what about the other thing that we're looking at here with enabling small businesses to sort of join forces together? I know that you said that that's a good idea. So if it's such a good idea, why isn't it happening now? And what are the obstacles to potentially changing this in the future?
Well, you can do it, but it's complicated. There are rules that basically make it very difficult for one restaurant to associate with another company. You have to be, commonality has to be there. There's also rules that say if somebody goes under, if you have 20 associations joining your retirement plan, and one of them goes under, everybody else is sort of responsible for that. And I think they need to make some rule changes. Let me just comment on this point about why there is a retirement age and why you have to start withdrawal. The primary reason, other than the IRS and the tax issues, is they don't want these becoming inheritance accounts. So think about this. Suppose I have $500,000 and I don't have any age at which I can withdraw. Essentially, I can just sit there and eventually die and pass it on to my heirs. They don't want that to happen. These are sort of designed to be self-liquidating, and that's why they have that initial age to start. I think what they need to do is move that up now, maybe to 73 or 4 or 5, to reflect how much longer people are living.
I thought that was a part of it. I have 2 retirement accounts of my late parents, and I am required to take mandatory withdrawals out of them every year. For that very reason, the government didn't want your ability to build a huge thing that you then pass on, and when you pass it on, it escapes tax completely.
That's it.